You need to understand something right now. When you build something from nothing, when you pour your grandmother's dreams into every brick and recipe, that's when they come for you. Friday night, 7:47 p.m. Mama's table was packed, 83 guests, and the air smelled like collard greens, cornbread, and my grandmother's secret peach cobbler. Then she started screaming, "You're all racists, every single one of you." The woman stood center of my dining room, phone held high, professional ring light clipped to the case. Her voice had that quality of someone who'd rehearsed their lines. Designer handbag, expensive highlights, makeup applied with skill. "You refuse to serve me because I'm black. This establishment discriminates." I stood frozen at the host stand. My brain couldn't process it. My entire staff is black. I'm black. Marcus, my head chef, is black. Keisha, the server she was pointing at, is a 19-year-old black woman at Spelman College. Her companion positioned himself near the door, filming from multiple angles, backing toward the exit. Professional camera work. Steady hands. "You're going to regret this. I'm calling my lawyer. This is going viral." I tried to approach her. "Ma'am, please, I don't understand." But she was already moving toward the door. "Justice is coming for you." They were gone. The door swung shut. 83 pairs of eyes turned to me. "My name is Jerome Washington. I own Mama's Table in Sweet Auburn, Atlanta. 15 years ago, I opened this restaurant with $47,000 in savings and my grandmother Ruby's recipes. She escaped Jim Crow, Mississippi in 1963, worked as a domestic cook for 30 years, teaching me everything before she passed in 2008. We'd been James Beard nominated. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution called us the soul of Sweet Auburn. 6-week waiting list for Friday nights. This was community landmark, living history, and this woman just called us racist on camera. That night, Marcus and I reviewed security footage. The woman entered at 7:35, didn't approach the host stand, didn't look at menus, walked directly to the center, positioned herself carefully, and 12 minutes later started screaming. "She never tried to order," Marcus said, "never approached staff, just walked in and performed." Cold dread settled in my stomach. This was planned. I stayed until 3 a.m., watching footage repeatedly, taking notes with timestamps, burning backups to 3 drives. My grandmother used to say, "Truth is patient, baby. Lies are always in a hurry." I didn't know what was happening yet, but I knew I'd need evidence. Hit that subscribe button and comment what city you're watching from. What happened next? What I discovered about who was behind this? You won't believe it, but I've got every frame of footage to prove it. Monday morning, my phone exploded. The video had 47,000 views. They'd edited out everything. Her walking past the host stand, 12 minutes of positioning herself, her companion ready with his camera. What remained was 32 seconds of her screaming about discrimination. The comments destroyed me. "Boycott Mama's Table immediately. Disgusting racist establishment." At 11:43 p.m. Friday, a 1-star Yelp review appeared. Username, Justice Seeker 2024. The review used phrases she never actually said. Systematic discrimination, hostile environment, pattern of racial bias, professional language, legal language. I called my lawyer, Tom Abernathy. "Jerome, this smells wrong. Document everything." Tuesday evening, 6:15 p.m., it happened again. Different man, same playbook. He sat in Keisha's section. I watched from the kitchen as she approached with menus. "Good evening, sir. Do you have any allergies I should know about?" Standard question. "We use peanut oil and shellfish." His phone was already recording. "Did you just use a racial slur?" Keisha stepped back, face draining. "Sir, no, I asked about allergies." "Everyone heard it. This is the second time this place has been exposed." He was heading for the exit, phone still recording. "Part 2 of exposing Mama's Table. Share this everywhere." Keisha was crying. I'd installed audio systems Monday morning, legal in Georgia with proper signage. I played back the interaction 6 times. Crystal clear. "Do you have any allergies I should know about?" Nothing else. No slurs. Nothing remotely misinterpretable. Marcus found me at midnight. Both incidents happened exactly 48 hours after Urban Fusion got bad Yelp reviews. Urban Fusion, the restaurant 2 blocks away, opened 8 months ago by Richard Castellano, a white guy from Connecticut with zero culinary background but venture capital. Elevated soul food, $38 for fried chicken with foam, always empty, yet still operating. You think he's targeting us? I think desperation makes people do stupid things. I opened Excel. Column A, date and time. Column B, description. Column C, Urban Fusion's reviews. Column D, business impact. Column E, evidence location. Every incident at Mama's Table happened within 72 hours of Urban Fusion receiving negative reviews. Everyone during our peak hours. Everyone professionally filmed and posted immediately. This wasn't random. This was systematic. At 3 a.m., I called a private investigator. Sarah Chen answered. Ms. Chen, I'm Jerome Washington. I own Mama's Table, and someone is running a coordinated campaign to destroy my business. Tell me everything. When I finished, she said, if this is real, we're dealing with conspiracy to commit fraud. I can be there at 9 a.m. Bring every piece of evidence you have. The $3,500 retainer was money I'd saved for a new freezer. But what's a freezer worth if there's no restaurant left? Sarah Chen looked like she'd walked out of a crime thriller. Sharp blazer, sharper eyes, the kind of presence that made you sit up straight. Former Atlanta PD detective, 15 years, now ran her own security consulting firm. She spread my documents across my office desk, laptop open, already working. Give me 24 hours. Thursday morning, she called. You need to see this. The woman from Friday, now identified as Andrea Morrison, followed Richard Castellano on Instagram. Not just followed. She'd liked his post going back 6 months. Commented on Urban Fusion's anniversary post. Can't wait to try this. The Tuesday man, Derek Price, also followed Castellano. Tagged at Urban Fusion 3 times in the past 2 months. This is conspiracy to defame, Sarah said, but we need irrefutable proof. We need to catch them in the act. Thursday night, 8 p.m., Incident 3. A couple claimed they found hair in their food. I watched on security footage as the woman pulled something from her purse and dropped it onto her plate. Her companion immediately started filming, shouting about health hazards. I walked straight to their table, Marcus behind me. That's synthetic hair, I said calmly, and I have you on camera planting it. You need to leave now. The woman's face went white. They scrambled for the exit. I bagged the hair immediately. Evidence bag, timestamp. Both Marcus and I signed as witnesses. Synthetic fiber, obvious under any examination. Friday morning, health inspector showed up. Anonymous complaint. He inspected every inch of the kitchen, found nothing, gave us a perfect score. Someone's targeting you, he said quietly as he left. I met with Tom Abernathy that afternoon. Document everything, he said. Every frame, every receipt, every timestamp. This is going to court. Sarah began staking out Urban Fusion. Meanwhile, reservations were down 35%. Regular customers asking questions. Staff demoralized. But we had a plan now, and we had evidence. Friday night, Sarah called at 9:30. You need to see this. Now. I drove to the parking lot across from Urban Fusion. Sarah showed me footage. Andrea Morrison entering through the back door at 10:47 p.m. Wednesday. Inside for 18 minutes. Emerged with an envelope. Counted cash under the streetlight. $200 bills. Got into a Honda Civic with temporary tags registered to RTC Holdings LLC. Richard T. Castellano. More footage. Derek Price. Same routine Thursday night. $1,500 cash. We've got him, I said. Not yet. This proves payment, not purpose. Could claim consulting fees. We need recording of explicit instructions. Sarah called her former colleague, Detective Maria Santos, still with APD. Santos suggested a controlled operation. We installed additional hidden cameras. Legal, signage posted. Positioned perfectly for the next incident. We were ready for war. Saturday lunch rush. 72 customers. The dining room hummed with conversation and the sound of silverware on plates. I was checking on a table of regulars, the Hendersons, who'd been coming every Saturday for 11 years, when I saw them enter. 2 men, early 20s, athletic builds. They didn't look at the host stand, didn't wait to be seated, walked directly to the center of the dining room, and I knew. They started arguing with each other, loud, aggressive. One shoved the other. Customers jumped back, startled. "This is racist," one of them shouted, turning to face the room. "The staff here lets this happen." They saw racial tension and did nothing. Marcus was already moving from the kitchen. I was frozen, watching it play out like a nightmare in slow motion. Both men had their phones out now, filming each other, filming the customers, filming everything. "We're leaving," the other one shouted. "This establishment doesn't protect black customers." They stormed out. The whole thing took 90 seconds. Sarah had them followed. Both went directly to Urban Fusion, entered through the back, emerged 40 minutes later counting cash. But the damage was catastrophic. The video went viral, 230,000 views in 12 hours. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. The algorithm loved conflict, loved outrage, loved a good villain. By Monday morning, Channel 7 News called. Reporter Ashley Rodriguez, sympathetic voice but firm. "We're running a story about the pattern of complaints against Mama's Table. We'd like your comment." The story aired Monday evening. Beloved restaurant faces mounting allegations. They showed clips from all the videos, interviewed concerned community members, gave me 30 seconds to defend 15 years of work. My mother called crying, "Baby, what's happening? That's your grandmother's legacy." I had no answer that made sense. How do you explain that someone is destroying you with lies, and the lies spread faster than truth? Tuesday, health inspector returned. Second anonymous complaint. Perfect score again. Wednesday, fire marshal inspection. Anonymous tip about capacity violations. No violations found. Thursday, anonymous call to liquor licensing board. They sent someone Friday. All inspections, perfect scores. But each one cost me hours, cost me staff time, cost me the appearance of legitimacy. Smoke meant fire in people's minds. Reservations were down 62%. 2 servers quit, couldn't handle the stress, the suspicious looks, the whispers. Keisha was holding on, but barely. Marcus looked 10 years older. "We can't sustain this," he said Thursday night, after we'd served 37 customers in a dining room built for 120. "The math doesn't work, Jerome. Another month like this?" He didn't finish. He didn't have to. Sarah's breakthrough came Friday morning. Subpoenaed phone records. Fraud investigation warrant approved by a judge who reviewed our evidence. Castellano had contacted 14 different people in the past month. Cross-reference with incident dates. Perfect match. Every single person he'd called had either participated in an incident or been present at one. "There's more," Sarah said. "I found something from Chicago." She showed me a Chicago Tribune article from 2019. Local restaurant owner settles harassment claims. Richard Castellano had forced out a competitor using similar tactics. Staged incidents, fake reviews, coordinated attacks. The other owner settled for $85,000 just to make it stop. Sealed records. "He's done this before," I said. "He's a professional," Sarah corrected, "and that means he's made mistakes we can find." That night, I sat in my office surrounded by evidence. Binders full of printouts, hard drives full of footage, spreadsheets tracking every pattern. My grandmother's picture on the wall, her smile forever captured in that photo from 1985, her hands covered in flour. "I'm not giving up, Grandma," I whispered. "I promise you, I'm not giving up." Monday morning, Sarah arrived with someone new. Agent Kevin Park, FBI, White Collar Crime Division. "Mr. Washington," he said, shaking my hand, "wire fraud crosses state lines. What Castellano did in Chicago, now here in Atlanta, that's federal jurisdiction." They spread everything across my office. Agent Park reviewed documents for 3 hours straight, making notes, asking questions, occasionally stopping to shake his head. "This is one of the clearest fraud cases I've seen," he finally said, "but we need to build it properly. Perfect documentation." Sarah had already compiled most of it. Now we added federal resources, forensic accountants, digital forensic specialists, financial investigators. The accountants found Urban Fusion's shell company, Prestige Marketing Consultants, LLC. $47,500 paid out in 2 months. Invoices for brand awareness campaigns and market research. All fake, all deductible as business expenses on tax returns. Tax fraud, Agent Park said with satisfaction. IRS loves tax fraud. Wednesday, they made their move on Andrea Morrison. 3 prior fraud convictions, facing enhanced sentencing if convicted again. They offered immunity for cooperation. She broke in 20 minutes. Recorded statement, video, and audio. Castellano approached her at a temp agency 3 months ago. Offered $2,000 per incident. Provided scripts, specific phrases to use, timing instructions. Taught her how to edit videos, which hashtags to use, which platforms to post on. She named 11 other participants. Provided text messages, payment records, everything. He told me nobody would ever figure it out, she said on the recording. Said he'd done it before. Said small restaurant owners never had the money to fight back legally. Said by the time anyone investigated, the target restaurant would be bankrupt. Agent Park looked at me. He was wrong. They set up the final trap. Undercover officer posing as potential recruit. Fully wired. Meeting at Urban Fusion, Monday 3 p.m. Sarah arranged for me to watch from the surveillance van. I probably shouldn't have been there. Witness contamination, chain of evidence. But Agent Park allowed it. The audio came through crystal clear. Castellano's voice, arrogant and casual. I need you to go in during their dinner rush. Start screaming about discrimination. Film everything. I'll pay you $1,500 cash when you bring me the video. What if they ask questions? Don't worry about proof. Emotion sells. Just make it look real. Make sure you mention lawyers, lawsuits. Tag every local news station. The algorithm will do the rest. Have you done this before? Castellano laughed. Chicago 2 years ago. Worked perfectly. The owner folded in 3 months, sold his lease for pennies. Nobody ever traced it back to me. Agent Park spoke into his radio. That's enough. Move in. 3:47 p.m. Tactical team entered Urban Fusion. I watched on the van's monitors. 6 agents and FBI windbreakers, weapons drawn, moving with practiced precision. Castellano was arrested at his desk, counting cash. Actual stacks of $100 bills, payment ready for the undercover officer. Marcus was beside me in the van. It's over, he said quietly. I shook my head. No. Now comes justice. Federal trial. 3 months later. United States District Court, Northern District of Georgia. All 12 participants testified. 11 had taken plea deals in exchange for cooperation. Andrea Morrison, Derek Price, the couple with the synthetic hair, the 2 men who staged the fight, 6 others I'd never seen, but who'd been part of Castellano's network. The prosecution presented 847 pages of documented evidence, security footage with timestamps burned into every frame, phone records showing every call, every text, bank statements showing every payment, audio recordings of Castellano giving explicit instructions. My testimony lasted 4 hours. The prosecutor walked me through every incident, every piece of evidence, every moment of documentation. Mr. Washington, why did you keep such detailed records? My grandmother taught me that truth is patient. She survived Jim Crow by being meticulous, by keeping receipts, by documenting everything. She knew that in a world designed to dismiss you, proof is survival. Tell the jury about the impact on your business. I did. The lost revenue, over $240,000. The staff who quit. The regular customers who stopped coming, not because they believed the lies, but because they didn't want to be associated with controversy. The suppliers who quietly asked if we'd be able to pay our invoices on time. Tell them about the personal impact. My voice broke here. I hadn't expected it to. My grandmother escaped Mississippi to build something beautiful. She worked 30 years as a domestic cook, saving every penny so her grandson could own something, could build something. This man tried to destroy that legacy with lies, tried to turn her dream into a symbol of the very hatred she'd escaped. Castellano's defense claimed competitive marketing tactics. His lawyer argued that everything was protected speech, that reviews and videos were opinion, that the payments were legitimate consulting fees. The jury deliberated 90 minutes. Guilty on all counts. Conspiracy to commit fraud, wire fraud, defamation, tax evasion, witness tampering. Sentencing came 2 weeks later. Judge Patricia Morrison, no relation to Andrea, looked at Castellano with open disgust. You didn't just attack a business. You weaponized racism, turned real pain into theater, and nearly destroyed a pillar of this community. 52 months federal prison, $340,000 in restitution to Mr. Washington. Castellano's face went white. Your Honor, We're done, Mr. Castellano. Urban Fusion closed the day after the verdict. Equipment auctioned, space purchased by a community development corporation. They turned it into a youth culinary training center. I donated some equipment, taught a class there last month on traditional techniques. The students called me Chef Jerome. One of them, 17-year-old Maya, asked if she could intern at Mama's table. She starts next month. The customers returned immediately. The waiting list came back. 6 weeks for Friday nights, 4 for Saturdays. Local news ran a correction series, Justice for Mama's Table, though it got a fraction of the views the original hit pieces received. Truth never trends like lies do. But something had changed in me. I couldn't just go back to running a restaurant and pretend none of this happened. I launched the Small Business Defense Coalition 3 months after the verdict. Free toolkit for documentation, best practices, security system recommendations, legal resources, template spreadsheets for tracking patterns, a network of 40 Atlanta restaurants sharing information about suspicious reviews and coordinated attacks. We protect each other now, I told the group at our first meeting, because Castellano isn't unique. This playbook exists, and small businesses are vulnerable. 6 months post-trial, we opened a second location in Decatur, named it Miss Ruby's after my grandmother. Marcus became full partner, 15% ownership. We implemented profit sharing for all staff, mental health support, security training. The anniversary event was something else. Judge Morrison came, off the clock, she clarified, just as a guest. Detective Santos and Agent Park attended with their families. Sarah Chen, who'd become a friend, brought her kids. My mother cut the ribbon at Miss Ruby's, tears streaming. Your grandmother would be so proud, baby, not just of the food, but of your character. You didn't let hate win. That night, standing in the kitchen of the new restaurant, watching Marcus train a new line cook, I thought about documentation, about patience, about my grandmother's hands covered in flour, teaching a 6-year-old boy how to make biscuits. She'd survived by being careful, by keeping records, by knowing that proof outlasts lies. I'd survive the same way. Listen, if this story moved you, smash that subscribe button. Hit the like. Share this with every small business owner you know. Drop a comment. What would you have done in my position? Remember this, document everything, every interaction, every timestamp, every receipt. Truth takes time, but it wins if you can prove it. Lies spread fast, but they're fragile. Evidence is forever. My grandmother escaped Jim Crow with nothing but recipes and determination. I almost lost everything she built because someone with money and malice thought he could destroy us with theater. He was wrong. Not because I was stronger, not because I was smarter, but because I documented everything, because I found people who believed in evidence over emotion, because I refused to let lies become the final truth. Your business, your dream, your legacy, protect it the same way. Not with anger, not with revenge, with patience, precision, and proof. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Truth is patient, and in the end, truth wins.